Hello, welcome to another Walking Dead episode, and today we'll be reviewing The Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 13, Warlords. And this episode was a pleasant surprise, as we are now kind of in the mid-season part of this, part. We're not the big opener or the big finale, we're in the centre. I'm surprised how good these episodes are. This is not a filler episode, and if you like a lot of action, you will like episode 13. So, what is the premise of this episode? So, the episode starts off with Lydia and Maggie and up a hilltop, and basically a lot of people are leaving Hilltop. And I'm quite happy that we're going down the route that Maggie is in a bad place. And I was not very excited, to be honest, when I saw that it's a lot of Lydia and Maggie. I was like, oh, it's good to see Lydia, and I liked that we'll see more of Lydia, and they're going to give us something to do. But I didn't like her and Maggie, I just didn't like it. I thought it was quite boring. And then they just kind of soon drop off Lydia. I thought this was going to be her episode, but she's in only the start of the episode, really. Because they do a premise where they see Aaron, and then it goes back a week to tell Aaron's story and how he got to that point. And they do it throughout the entire episode, and I think it really helps with the pacing, and it really helps the storytelling, because it doesn't feel very formulaic like they normally do, where they have a plot A, plot B, and sometimes just a plot A. This episode, you have this story, and you get to the point with this character, and then it goes back a week. It will go back a week and an hour, or something like that. So you can see how different characters got to that point, and it really helps you get into the action, and spreads the action out through more of the episode, so you don't have this very action-packed back half, because this episode has a lot of action, but because they're doing this weird form of we go back and fill it in later, you get action quite early on, and I quite like it. And when something stupid happens, I'm like, oh no, this is stupid, and then they explain it, I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. I just really liked the format of this episode, and the pacing was really good. Near the end, it just built up really well, but I just really like the pacing and the format. I just didn't like how they kind of dumped Lydia. I thought they would do something with her, but they dumped her. A side critique is to do with Maggie in this episode, because right at the start there's a scene where she's driving, and she's meant to be driving in a straight line, but her hands are shaking on the steering wheel and going back and forth, and it just annoys me. Why do actors do that when they're meant to be driving in a straight line? Maybe she doesn't know that she's on a green screen, and the actor doesn't know that she's meant to be driving in a straight line. Can just someone tell her, so she just holds the steering wheel straight, because when you drive in a straight line, that's what you do. But that annoyed me. But other than that little tiny thing, I liked the premise of the episode. The action was great. It was a very fun episode. Another great thing about this episode is that they finally gave Aaron something to do, and he's one of my favourite characters. I really like Aaron. He's such a solid character, and he is kind of the leader of this episode, along with Gabriel, and I really like what they've done with these two characters, and they paired them off quite well. These are two very good characters that have been really well paired. In my mind, these two characters are kind of like Rick and Daryl. Just, they're inseparable, and I really like what they've done with Gabriel this episode. They kind of progressed his character story again, where now he's accepted who he are, and now he's like, I believe in God again. I really like how he's no longer this moody guy from 10C and 11A. He's now this religious guy still. I really like that. One downside about Aaron, though, it's amazing he's in this episode. It's amazing he's a big part of this episode. I didn't like how he just kind of got sidelined from his job as the leader of Alexandria, because in this episode he's like, oh yeah, I've got a new job now. I now go out and do what I used to in season 5, where I used to go find more settlers. And you're like, wait, who's meant to be in charge of Alexandria if Aaron's gone? I just don't like how they've removed all the leadership from Alexandria. I feel like one character should stay there, and we should get an Alexandria story. But no, he's now just part of the Commonwealth now. But with that downside of we lose Alexandria, it's still good to see Aaron, and I liked his job made sense. I just liked Aaron. He was fun, and him and Gabriel, in my opinion, carried this episode. I do have some issues with this episode, though. Some of it is stupid for stupid's sake, and some of it is that Lance is in this episode. He's in a small bit of this episode, and basically what happens in this episode is all because of Lance messing up, and he doesn't want Pamela to know. But I don't like how they're making Lance seem more of a villain than Pamela. Maybe the show's going down Lance being the big bad and Pamela not. They could be going down that arc, but with being deep in this arc now, I want to see more Pamela. I want to see her be more evil. I don't want her to be this clueless woman that has Lance, her underling, trying to one-up her. I just didn't like it. I don't like their direction they're going with Lance. He's a great villain. However, I feel like he's taken away from Pamela too much. I feel like Pamela should be a villain also. Like, what I think it should be like is Pamela and Lance be like Simon and Negan. And Pamela should be like Negan, and Lance should be like a Simon type of character. That's how it should go. That's how this arc should have gone with the villains. But no, it just seems like Lance is the straight up villain, and Pamela's just this kind of clueless woman. That is a big issue I have so far with this season, and this episode just makes it worse with Lance doing some more shady stuff. Another issue I have with this episode is stupid decisions for stupid decisions' sake, just to make drama and conflict. So basically, Lance messes up, so he gets an undercover guy to go into this community and just kind of wipe it out, basically. And they bring Gabriel and Aaron around to kind of make it seem more legit that they just want to help people. And then when it all goes sideways, Gabriel and Aaron are all like, well, this is messed up, we're going to fight against you. And the Corner of Soldiers are like, excuse me? They're like the shocked Pikachu face, like, oh, we've just done something and you're shocked? I'm like, no, it makes sense why they'd be shocked. Aaron and Gabriel's reaction to what happened makes sense. And I'm happy that they lashed out instead of just standing there. They were like, whoa, and they fought back. And I just didn't like how the leader of the little Commonwealth troops they had was like, what? Whoa, this is a shocker. Why are you fighting back? Why are you shocked? Why are you not just going on with what I'm doing? I just didn't like that. And I think it was just stupid for stupid sake. Like, if you messed up and you're Lance and you're like, okay, I'm going to get this secret guy to go in and kill all these people, would you make sure to bring Aaron into the fold and maybe Gabriel, so they know when they go in there, they're going to kill everyone? You just got to act like you're being nice instead of just giving them shock and starting conflict. I just didn't like the stupid decisions made to keep characters out of the loop because drama happens because of it. And you're like, well, everything that happens in this episode and next episode is all preventable if they just decided to tell Aaron and Gabriel about what was going to happen. I just didn't like the bad guys just being really stupid at this point. And after that moment, I was a bit peeved off. But the ending really does save this episode for me. So Negan comes back. And I like how Negan's first thought is to get Maggie. When something is going wrong, Negan just sends somebody. He's like, you need to get Maggie. Okay, because Maggie can fix this, basically. And I like how Negan helps Gabriel out. And I like how Negan is a part of this community. And he really saves this for me. Because Aaron and Gabriel were carrying this episode up until the point that stupid for stupid sake happened, and they should have been put in the loop. And I liked what their reaction was. Aaron runs off, he's like, I'm screwed. Gabriel gets arrested. I like that. Then Negan comes and saves it. Then the bad guys being bad for bad purposes, like, hey, we're gonna kill everyone now because we're evil. And you're like, okay, well, these guys aren't exactly good, so not killing innocent people. But if they just told Aaron and Gabriel what they were gonna do, this would have been so much easier. It's just just didn't like that. But the ending was really good. And once we get to the point where Aaron runs off and Negan saves Gabriel and stuff like that, we get to the point where it's now looped back around to the start of the episode. And Aaron's with Maggie. Lydia gets dropped at this point, and they're like, okay, we need to go back. We need to go save the people. And they go back, and the ending of this episode is really suspenseful, and it just kind of ends right there. I didn't like how the ending was very sudden. It was just like Aaron shuts the door, or something gets pushed off a thing. I don't exactly remember, but I know it's like very sudden, and I just didn't like how sudden it is. But I'm very excited for episode 14, because that episode seems like such a big episode with this big conflict happening. And with some of the shots we've seen in the trailer, we know Aaron and Gabriel end up being arrested together again. So they've escaped just being arrested again. I'm really excited. This episode has such a great cliffhanger. I don't like how quick it happens and how sudden, but the build-up is great. It's such a good build-up episode. This is a very well-paced episode because of the way they structured the episode. It's very fun to watch. The action is good. The music of this episode is so intense. I love the music in this episode. I'm one of those people who notices music when they use it. And I really like the music in this episode. It's very good and it's very impactful when we see this community for the first time. I know a lot of people were like, oh, this is the new frontier. No, they're just a random raider gang that Negan's with. They're nothing special. Now let's move on to my one sentence, just one word overall review. And this is a very good episode, but I couldn't say this is an oops bang just because it's very fun to watch. It's very enjoyable. But when you think about this episode, things happen because they need to make characters do something. So they make people do stupid decisions. Like the bad guys being stupid. I just didn't like that, so I couldn't say this is a perfect episode. There are some plot things that make this episode stupid. Negan's return was handled well. I liked how we just got picked up with Negan, and Negan's just helping people. He's part of this group, and I liked that. I liked the Raiders. They weren't this big thing like everyone's thought they're New Frontier just because there's a girl that looked like a character from the game. Nope, they're just random people. I liked that. And it was a very good episode. I would say this is a great episode. It's just great. I couldn't say this is an oops banger. A part of me really wants me to say that. However, just thinking about this episode, it was just stupid. There are stupid choices. The pacing is great. I really like the story structure. That's one of the key things that really made this episode great and really helped it get along. It made it feel very different. And this episode, I watched it when I finished. I was like, I need to watch more. I was so excited. I haven't felt that for ages. I think the last time I felt that was watching season 6 of Fear. But I can't wait for next week. That's how excited I am because of this episode. This is, in my opinion, could be close to the best episode this season. Like episode 9 and 10 were really, really good. But this is the best action episode this season, in my opinion. But what is your opinion about this episode? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you really happy we finally got Aaron and Gabriel doing stuff again? Did you think the pacing was off? Please tell me what your thoughts and opinions of this episode down below. And look on the screen for more reviews, for more content. I recommend you click on it because you will find something else you like, guaranteed. And feel free to subscribe for more reviews, more discussion videos, anything Walking Dead. Come here for more. And this is it for me today. So goodbye, peace out, and I'll talk to you at a later date.